Let's see, can everybody hear out there? My name is Mark Buell. I have the pleasure of serving as the president of the Recreation and Park Commission. Thank you. I want to welcome you all here today, and I want to welcome some distinguished guests. So I'm going to read some names. If you hold your applause, I know you want to root for every one of them, but just wait till we get through the list and let them know you appreciate them. So we have our District Attorney, George Gascon. We have... Now, you know who started clapping? The general manager. This guy's in charge of everything. Excuse me. As I was saying, George Gascon, the district attorney, Jeff Adachi, our public defender, Alan Lowe, Gloria Bonilla, Tom Harrison, and Megan Leviton, all my fellow commissioners on Rec and Park, Greg Sewer, our fantastic police chief, Cindy Wu, Planning Commission President, Julie Christensen, Pioneer Park Project President, Jim Lazarus, Senior VP of the San Francisco Chamber of Commerce and former President of the Recreation and Park Commission, and the Reverend Norman Fong, Chinatown Community Development. Now give them a big hand. I have two art commissioners here too, Roberta Ordeñana and Abby Schneer. I apologize. Give them a welcome. All right, at this stage of the program, I really need Lillie Hitchcock Coit to join me up here. Come on up, Lillie, AKA Donna Huggins. So I thought, rather than give you my interpretation of this beautiful lady, I would tell you what Wikipedia has to say about her. Woo! Lillie Hitchcock Coit. Fire Belle Lil Coit was considered eccentric, smoking cigars and wearing trousers long before it was socially acceptable for women to do so. She was an avid gambler and often dressed like a man in order to gamble in the male-only establishments that dotted North Beach. Is that your district supervisor? As a young woman, she traveled to Europe with her mother. After her return, she married Howard Coit, the caller for the San Francisco Stock Exchange. He passed away, sadly, in 1885. At age 15, in 1858, Coit reportedly witnessed the Knickerbocker Engine Company No. 5 respond to a fire call on Telegraph Hill when they were shorthanded and helped them get up the hill ahead of the other competing companies. Now, this must have been in the days when everything was outsourced to private enterprise. But anyway, she got them up here first. She was thereafter treated as a mascot of the firefighters, and after her return from travels in Europe in October 1863, she was made an honorary member of the engine company. She then rode along with the firefighters when they went to fight a fire or were in parades. She continued this relationship with firefighting, not firefighters, firefighting, throughout her life. She died in 1929 and left 1/3 of her estate to the city of San Francisco to be expended in an appropriate manner for the purpose of adding to the beauty of the city, which I have always loved. The city used the bequest to build Coit Tower on Telegraph Hill. The remainder of her bequest also sponsored another neighborhood landmark, a statue of 3 firefighters, which is down in Washington Square. So let's hear it for this beautiful lady.
Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to say a quick few words?
Well, all of that is true. And even though you're not a firefighter, you're pretty cute.
Oh.
But really, thank you so much for this beautiful restoration of my gift to the city. It's incredible. Enjoy it and take care of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Lillie. I would be remiss if I did not mention another special guest, and it's really quite appropriate. He is a firefighter in San Francisco, but more importantly, he's the grandson of Victor Arnatoff, who managed the development of the murals here at Coit Tower. So I want you to welcome Pete Arnatoff and his wife. Thank you, Pete. All right, moving right along. We have a distinguished guest arriving sometime soon. So rather than buy time, I may introduce the next speaker on the program, and that is, I want you to recall that it was the Board of Supervisors who decided to appropriate this money that Lillie left to do the right thing in San Francisco. And that tradition keeps going with the president of our Board of Supervisors, David Chu.
Good morning, everyone. The sun is shining on Telegraph Hill today. I want to thank you for being part of this wonderful, wonderful event. And let me start by saying, I think for every single person here, we all have our personal connections with Telegraph Hill and with Coit Tower. Some 22 years ago, I visited San Francisco for the very first time. And I climbed up the stairs and I looked out onto the bay. And I told myself that I needed to move to this city. And I moved here a few years later, 18 years ago. And for the first couple of years, when I lived in San Francisco, every Sunday I would run up here to the top of Coit Tower because this is a special place. And we all know that for decades, Coit Tower has been an amazingly spectacular, special place in our city's history. Starting in 1933, 81 years ago, you look great for having been. Thank you, Lillie, for your friendship with firefighters. And I also want to take a moment and thank the family of Ruth Gottstein, your grandfather, Bernard Zackheim, in 1933. During the Great Depression, as we know, painted 27 murals here that depict our city's history, that depict the struggles of working families and labor here in San Francisco that really is very much a part of what our city is about and who we stand for. And over the decades, we have had so many members of our community that have come together. I know that 20 years ago, the Friends of Pioneer Park struggled to put together the resources and to invest in where we are today. And more recently, I want to thank the Telegraph Hill dwellers and their leadership. Yes, let's give it up for them. There are so many of you here today who, over the years, handed the baton from person to person, from community activist to community activist, to protect this symbol of who San Francisco is today. And I just want to close by thanking you all for that effort. I know the mayor is going to get here briefly, but the mayor, a couple of years ago, responded to the request that I made on behalf of all of us here on Telegraph Hill and on behalf of all of us who care about this institution, working with our Rec and Park Department, working with our Arts Commission. Thank you for close to $2 million of restoration work that you did, which combined to a structure and institution that will, for decades, bring tens of thousands of new San Franciscans to the city, to call this place our home, to call Coit Tower one of our favorite landmarks in all of the world. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. Have a wonderful day.
So as we wait for our special guest, let me bring on the next speaker. I have to tell you that last year for the park bond issue that was on the ballot, that 72% of the people of San Francisco said they liked the job that the Rec and Park Department is doing and passed that bond by an even larger number than the past bonds. I believe that's due almost entirely to the staff of Rec and Park and the job they do, and it's all under the leadership of their general manager, Phil Ginsberg. Phil?
Wow, what a beautiful day, huh? Really, what a spectacular, beautiful day. And after Danny sang the national anthem, it really truly feels like opening day here at Coit Tower, doesn't it? And so, Mr. President, my boss, please forgive the shout out. I didn't follow instructions. It will surely show up on my performance evaluation, but I was just overcome with exuberance by the celebration and the beauty of the day. This is such a special moment, and it's a moment that we should all be proud about. It is a great and proud moment for Coit Tower. It is a great and proud moment for the San Francisco Recreation and Park Department and the Arts Commission. It is a great and proud moment for the Friends of Pioneer Park and the Telegraph Hill dwellers and all who live around here who've demonstrated such pride. It is a great moment for the city and county of San Francisco. It really is. It is so important that we preserve our cultural heritage in this city. And it is a really thrilling time in this neighborhood alone. On Saturday, we had the great pleasure of being just down the hill at the ribbon cutting for the beautiful, spectacular new North Beach Library. That sits on Joe DiMaggio Playground, which is up next, Julie. It's up next. That library has an eye towards the future and has an eye towards keeping families thriving in this city. Today is about our past and preserving our past and focusing on our cultural heritage. And it's really a special time for us because today it's Coit Tower. Next year, right down the road, the Palace of Fine Arts and the centennial of the Pan-Pacific International Exposition, when San Francisco welcomed 20 million visitors 100 years ago to this city after the great earthquake. They came from all over, without airplanes, by the way. They came through the newly opened Panama Canal, and it was the moment when this city bounced back from the great earthquake. So this moment has great historical meaning and context, and we are so proud to welcome you here. The funding for this project came from savings from the department's capital plan, nearly $1.7 million in savings from our 2 bond measures. And I'm very, very, very proud of that. With that funding, we were able to obviously restore the murals, and you're going to hear a lot more about that. But murals have been restored here over time. And the reason it didn't take, quite frankly, is because, Lillie, your building was beautiful and perfect, but it's not waterproof. So we replaced the roof. We repainted the lobby ceiling and fixtures to bring it as close to the original state as possible. And if you haven't been in there yet, I can't wait till you get in there. The murals pop. There's trim on the ceilings and around, and it does not look like the Coit Tower you visited a year ago. It may not look like the Coit Tower that you've ever seen. It is truly spectacular. We've renovated bathrooms, performed various ADA upgrades to make sure that everyone gets to enjoy this space. And thanks to our proud partnership with Terry Grimm, our new vendor at Coit, we've so improved the curation of the visitor experience here. It's really, really beautiful. You will see that not just the murals, but this new unbelievable museum quality gift shop, and a quick commercial break. This tribute here to 1930s comes from the gift shop that Mark and I are proudly wearing. This is the first purchase of our new gift shop, and I think it's quite stylish, and I encourage you all to visit it. And the benefit of our partnership with Terry and our new vendor is that 1% of the proceeds are going to be put back into this building to make sure that we can continue to preserve the murals and continue to make the small upgrades that over time become big problems. This is a very thoughtful and well-designed partnership, and it's a partnership intended to last. So some thank yous, because today is more than anything is about gratitude. We really want to thank our mayor, who you're going to hear from shortly, Board President David Chu for their leadership and support in identifying the funding to renovate and restore Coit Tower. We had it, but they had to tell us and give us the authority to spend it, and we're so grateful that they did. Without their support, we just would not be here today to celebrate this iconic structure. I also want to just take a brief moment to recognize my department staff and some of our partners in this project. First of all, our property management team, Nick Kinsey and Cassandra Costello, working with our new Coit Tower vendor, Terry Grimm. This project received unanimous support from the Rec and Park Commission and the Board of Supervisors, and it's been a struggle. It is a hard and complex project, and we have worked together to execute, I think, quite beautifully. Our capital planning team, Don Kamalanathan, Toksa Jike, Matt Jasmine, working with Anvil Builders, CEO H.T. Tran and his team to renovate the building. A very, very, very special shout out to our partner, the San Francisco Arts Commission, Tom DeCaney. You're going to hear from him. And his team, who worked so closely with David Wessel from the Architectural Resources Group to restore the murals and bring this building back to its historic beauty. Tom, there are plenty of stories of departments not working well together and trying to figure it out, and city agencies knocking heads. The partnership we have, I really truly believe, is a model for 21st century government. I really want to thank you for all of your collaboration and all of the work we did together to return this building to its glory. I want to thank our hardworking park staff who maintain Coit Tower in Pioneer Park. Zach Taylor with his capable team of gardening staff that work so hard to spruce up the grounds. Mike Godsey, Milo Linneman, Tim McGowan, Miguel Kimball, and all of our local 261 apprentices who've also lent a hand here to keep this place sparkling. I really want to thank the Planning Commission. Planning Commissioner Cindy Wu was introduced. We want to thank her and the entire Planning Department staff for their assistance and expertise in the project. And last but definitely not least, we want to thank the neighbors. John, thank you to THD for your advocacy for this building. But a special shout out to the Friends of Pioneer Park for their support and advocacy. Julie Christensen, thank you, really, for your tireless advocacy to make this project, to make this place worthy of what it's supposed to be. So we are just thrilled. I can't wait for you all to get in there and see it. And here's to San Francisco. Cheers.
We're getting close. This side of the aisle, the bride's side is very hot. The groom's side seems a little cooler. Many of Coit Tower muralists were students and faculty of the San Francisco Art Institute, so we're honored to have the San Francisco Art Institute President Charles Desmarais with us today, and we thank him for his leadership in continuing to nurture artists coming to San Francisco. Charles, thank you. And speaking of being champions of the Art Commission has these responsibilities and responsibility for lots of public art in San Francisco. I'd like you to welcome the Director of Cultural Affairs leading the San Francisco Art Commission. Please welcome Tom DeCaney.
Well, good afternoon. It is a hot one. So I will try to be brief so we can get into the shade. Welcome. This is a momentous day. It's an incredible day in our history in San Francisco. And I want to just start with everybody who has championed our cultural assets in the city, starting here with Coit Tower and the murals at Coit Tower. This is an incredible day. And when you go inside, if you haven't seen the work that our conservation team and our partners with ARG have done, it is absolutely stunning. So I'm going to share a little bit about some people we have to recognize today. On behalf of the Arts Commission and the city, I want to personally thank and recognize Ann Rosenthal, Greg Thomas, and James Bernstein, and their assistant Jeremy Allen, who have spent the last several months painstakingly restoring these murals and examining every inch. I have to tell you before we applaud them, and they're going to get an applause, I guarantee. They are the same group that worked on the murals in 1989. So we are so lucky to have the team that did the painstaking conservation at that time return, and to have their diligent documentation and their work. And I appreciate the coverage in the media to show what it means to have these very specialized, world-class conservationists working on our cultural assets here in San Francisco. So let's give Ann and the team a hand. As Phil mentioned, part of this historic restoration discovered that there had been a painted frame to the murals in the ceiling. You're going to notice that for the first time. I think it changes how we see the murals. We know frames change what we see in art, and I think it's just a great example of how that works. Also, the stucco beneath the murals for the first time has had full conservation. I mean, again, it just makes the beauty of these murals, which tell such an important story of our city's history, and the role artists play in creating place and in creating community and telling the stories of our human shared experience. And so I can't wait to invite you in. With that, I want to give a shout out to the key members of David Wessel's team at ARG Conservation Services. ARG has been an incredible partner, not just here at Coit Tower, but on our cultural assets around the city. This team includes Johanna Krantz-Moreno, Bate Brule, and project manager Jennifer Correa. They've all gone above and beyond, and I know my team has loved working with you, so thank you so much. Next, I just want to echo what Phil has said. It has been an incredible partnership and an incredible pleasure to work with Rec and Park. We have a tall order in the city. Coit Tower is one of our many amazing cultural assets, and Rec Park and the Arts Commission share the majority of our cultural assets in common. So this is a great example of what we can do together. We share monuments in the music concourse, the wonderful Mothers Building and the zoo. There are so many amazing cultural assets in our city, and the commitment to the infrastructure that Phil has made and his team have shown to caring for these assets in partnership, and to the leadership from our mayor and from the Board of Supervisors to commit capital dollars to our cultural infrastructure is absolutely critical. So thank you, Phil, for your team, and thank you to the board and to the mayor for this incredible commitment to our cultural assets in the city. And because we can't do it alone, I want to thank our private partner, Bank of America, who generously awarded the Arts Commission $100,000 for the restoration of the tower's 27 historic frescoes, as well as the implementation of a suite of didactic signage that is new and will help everyone understand what the history is behind these works. I wanted to share about how prestigious this recognition is. Bank of America has awarded previous grants through its program to incredible selection of historic treasures around the world. These treasures include the Winged Victory at the Louvre, works by Pablo Picasso and Diego Rivera, items from London's Westminster Abbey, and ancient artifacts from around the globe. This gift helps elevate the artistic treasures in Coit Tower to their international stature that they deserve, and we thank you so much for your partnership. Particularly today, I would like to thank Michelle Brega and Kelly Larkin from the Bank of America team. Thank you so much for being here and for helping raise this private side of the partnership and bringing attention to these great cultural assets. Thank you. Speaking of signage, I want to thank Harvey Smith, a local WPA scholar affiliated with the Living New Deal project, for volunteering time to help to create the new didactic signage you'll see. For the first time, each mural is accompanied by its own window into the past of the artists and the times in which they lived to bring to life through Harvey's words. We consider this to be a tremendous enhancement to the tower's experience, to bring it to a museum caliber, and we're deeply grateful to Harvey for his hard volunteer work. So speaking of the people whose hard work have made this possible, we have to honor the descendants of the Coit Tower muralists who are here with us today, two of whom are actually depicted in the murals. Ruth Gottstein, over here. Some of you may know that Ruth is famously depicted in a midi dress in her father, Bernard Zackheim's library mural, and it's an amazing mural, and we're so glad you could be here today to celebrate with us. And her son, Adam Gottstein, is here to join us as well. And Jane Blatchley, daughter of Otis Oldfield, who you can see alongside her sister peering over a fence at the view of the East Bay and the elevator lobby. Thank you for being here. You can read more about her story in the Chronicle. And Bruce Cheze, who's son of muralist and legendary puppeteer Ralph Cheze, who is also here today from Seattle. Thank you for coming down. Over the years, I've had the privilege to join the Arts Commission and get to know these incredible works. When I was a candidate for the job, I came up here with my in-laws, and you'll notice in one of the murals it says, Arts Commission awakens from a deep sleep. It's an honor to serve in this role and to work with an incredible team, and I need to thank some of our staff at the Arts Commission who've made this possible. First, our senior registrar, Allison Cummings, who has been up here daily for years. Where's Allison? Thank you, Allison, including some of our other team members, Jen Doyle Crane, Marcus Davies, please wave, our director of the Public Art Program, Susan Pontius, our Public Information Officer, Kate Patterson, and all the members of the team at the Arts Commission, Rochelle Axel, our development director who worked with Bank of America, and Tricky, a number of our staff here. So thank you for all the hard work you do every day. To the Arts Commission, who supports me in my role, two commissioners, Roberta Ordiniana and our Vice President, Abby Shaden-Schneer, thank you for all of your work every day. I wanted to take a moment to thank another muralist that I forgot. It's wonderful. Sorry, give me 1 second. I wanted to note somebody we've lost who couldn't be here today. Unfortunately, we've lost Masha Zakheim, Ruth Gottstein's sister, and author of one of the definitive books on the Coit Tower. So we're sorry she can't be here today, but in her honor, we celebrate this incredible restoration. So with that, thank you so much for coming, for trying to keep cool, and we look forward to welcoming you inside. Thank you so much.
Before I introduce the next speaker, I want to remind everybody that the firemen are hosting us all in the front for lunch. They're cooking out there, and there's nothing worse than having 100 pounds of meat and no one to eat it. So I want everybody to go around the corner after we've cut the ribbon. You know, it's very interesting that if you look at these murals that you will see shortly, you will see the working class families of San Francisco, the men and women who built the fabulous city. And so it's fitting that we saved our best for the last, a man who is trying to put more jobs in the marketplace, more affordable housing in San Francisco, and trying to build a sustainable economy, our fabulous mayor, Ed Lee.
Thank you. Thank you, Mark, for your wonderful work, and also the Rec and Park Commission. Good afternoon, everyone. It's great to be here at Coit Tower. Well, I've listened very carefully, and while I'm late, it's because $8 billion budget, 27 labor contracts, got to spend time trying to balance all that out. So I don't get to celebrate as much as I'd like, but I do want to sincerely say thank you to all of the groups, from the community representatives to the artists, the mural restorations, to Rec and Park Commission, staff to the Art Commission, and the wonderful artists you've gathered together to honor what Lillie Hitchcock Coit had started in this wonderful city of ours, and that is to pay tribute to the sacrifices and to what the city is all about. And I want to say thank you again, because we have another opportunity this June to further that tribute by restoring our emergency water system with our firefighters and our police officers and other emergency operators in the city. We will continue to do that with Prop A, but today is about this wonderful tower. And as I was reminded by all the previous speakers about how everything came together, whether it was the money, the artists, the planning with the neighborhood activists and leaders out here, with the blending of a great small business that would operate here and balance that out and try to make sure people had a wonderful experience with the restoration of the elevators. I also know that it was a relatively easy conversation with the Board of Supervisors, particularly with leader, Board President David Chu, because all we had to remind him and others was that this was a place where you took your significant others before you got hitched, out of the sight of everybody else. And once this became that iconic symbol as part of everybody else's experience, it was very easy to convince everybody else. And you know what I'm all talking about, too. Well, Coit Tower is special for a number of reasons. It's probably one of the most beautiful sightings. Every convention visitor wants to find out what's going on here. And with the advent of the restoration going on, there's even more excitement. We just want to make sure it gets balanced visits so we don't over-disturb the sensitive neighborhood that's around here. People have made significant investments here, and we want to honor that balance. And honor that balance with a great vendor, but also the restoration that is so important. These are historic landmarks in the city. They mean something to generations of people, and we have the privilege of reintroducing them to kids and to generations of our own. And when you look at the murals, you'll understand what it is. That history is delicate, it's important. It is a reminder of the Great Depression, but also the faces of diversity throughout our world of the West Coast and San Francisco. And we need to deliver those stories over and over again as part of the history of the city. So it's my privilege to help kick off this restoration and reopen. and of course, celebrating this with a free ride, although I loved going up the stairs myself. It's a free ride on the elevators all day today. It was one of those rare opportunities, because otherwise it's going to cost you $7 to get up there. I think that today is a wonderful celebration of that. There's so much to celebrate in response to this great landmark that we have in the city. And it will continue to be a landmark. And whether you're coming over from the east side of the bay, or from the north side, or on the water, or from our roadways all along our city, you'll always be looking at this great Coit Tower. And we just need to remind people, it's a vast community effort that comes into play here that is led by the honoring of Coit and the family's history, but also you turn around and you honor everybody else that has made this city a great city. And now that Norman Fong has properly blessed this place, we can then get on to cutting the ribbon and welcoming everybody to this wonderful restoration. Thank you very much for being here today.
We'll be cutting the ribbon down in front, and then lunch in the other side. Oh, well, you cut.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.